All right, everyone. Well, here we are, Monday morning, and I am locking up my first red day for the month of October. Today, kind of a slow start from the very beginning. We didn't have anything really good pre-market early. Coming into 7 a.m. when most retail traders come online, there was nothing that was looking good. CHSN, yes, it did pop up to 17 and then started to fade. So I didn't take any trades on that. Even though it did provide opportunity, actually went as high as about 18, then dropped to 11. I just said, you know what, I'm going to leave it alone because I know it's a pump and dump. And that was the stock I did the episode on Friday about, in case you didn't see it. So Chinese pump and dump, I just said, nope, I'm going to leave it alone because I don't know when it's going to start dumping again. And all of a sudden, could drop $2 a share in an instant. So I just said, leave it alone. So no trades on that one. We had a couple others that were moving. LASC, this was interesting, dropped 75% all the way down to about $1.85 and then bounced all the way back up to 5, which is pretty impressive. And I lost on it. Now, this was kind of a mistake for me because I typically don't do well trading a gap down reversal. And I was even talking about that in my watch list yesterday, how, at a minimum, I should be looking at stocks that are gapping up. But we didn't have much that was moving today. And this was volatile. But here was my problem. I was watching it early on and I kept saying, no, I don't know. And then finally it starts to pull away and I was like, all right, missed one good opportunity, which would have been a winner. And then it set up another sort of pattern, took that and I lost on it. And then that was kind of the very top. So I was like, didn't want to break the ice, finally broke the ice and it was too late. So anyways, let's jump onto the charts and start to break down the trades from today. If you look at the scan, you can see we've got a 300% gainer, but it's a 52 million share float stock, 22 million shares of volume priced at $31 a share. I didn't take any trades on this. It just is too far outside my wheelhouse to take risk. Popped up to about 35 this morning, dropped all the way back down to 20, and then rallies back up to 30. My first trade of the day was on LASC. So I took my first trade on LASC actually at $4, got in at about 406. So that was, let's see, that trade was at 727. So it was right here. That's right. So we had this pop right here. And, this, I'll back it up so we can look at the chart a little bit more. So this was kind of tricky because we had this big sell-off. I was watching it down here to $1.85 and I was like, should I? And I was like, don't do it. It's just, you don't usually make money on these and it's just not worth it. But then after it goes from 2 to 3, up to 4, up to 450 just about, I was like, all right, well, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't write it off so quick, right? So in this area here, it's consolidating and I took my first trade right here on this red candle. So that red candle right there was where I took my trade. I was getting in for the break over 4. Was thinking that if we broke the high of this pivot here, we would go back to the high, which was about 434. So didn't take that trade, took this one here and was looking for that continuation up. Stopped out, but actually with profit. So that first trade, I made $21. And that was my biggest winner of the entire day. That's sad. That's really sad. It's pathetic. But look, some days are hot, some days are cold. Today was cold. So that was LASC. Then goes sideways, and at the open, it rips into a halt up. On resumption, I was looking to do a dip here, but it didn't quite dip enough. So I was like, so I ended up not getting filled on the trade. It goes into a second halt. On the resumption from the second halt, it dips. I got filled, and it halts down, and I lost $1,500. So that was my... those were my 2 trades on LASC, a $20 winner and a $1,500 loser. Not good. Not a good profit to loss ratio today. So that was LASC. Then I had a trade on GSIW. GSIW is my only winner that I'm actually green on today, $17. This one started to squeeze this morning and I jumped in it on a micro pullback right here. So got in at about 52. This was right in this area here. It pops up to a high of, I guess it was 58 or 60, something like that. But then immediately comes back down, got out, break even. So I had basically 2 break-even trades to start the day. The $20 winner on LASC and the $17 winner on GSIW. And then the trade that put me deeper in the red was YYAI. This one, I got caught on this candle pre-market right here. I jumped in as it started to pull away. It was squeezing up and it pops to 957 and then drops all the way back down to 830. Lost $700 on that candle. So it does end up going higher, but it did not get back in. I just said, nah, just leave it alone. Leave it alone. Move on. All right. It had news this morning at 8. Float was pretty low, curling up on the daily. I thought it had a good amount of room to move higher, but anyways, didn't want to cooperate. So lost on that one. And then PEV, this was interesting. PEV goes from $1.10 to $1.40. And right as it broke over $1.30 on the bid at $1.32, right down here, was a 400,000 share buyer right at about $1.32 here. So when I saw that buyer, I was like, hello, that's a huge buy order. I'm going to jump in right here at $1.33 or 34. So I got in right there. I'm then adding for the break through the high, and it goes up to $1.38. But that was it. And then it came back down. And the buyer was still there, so I was like, I'm going to hold. It comes back up again, comes back down. Now the buyer's gone. The order got pulled. So I sold, took the loss of $163. And even though it's only about 10:15 in the morning or 10:20, I'm now kind of at a place where it's like, all right, 3 relatively small losses have added up to minus $2,500. My max loss on the day is $5,000. Is it worth it for me to keep pushing it? And I haven't had any winners today. I haven't had any decent winners today. So my accuracy is basically 0 out of 5. You might as well say I'm 0% today, which is, I hate having a day where my accuracy is that low, but that is what it is. So is today the day that I should keep pushing and try to make back half this loss? I don't think it is. I think the writing is on the wall that if I take more trades, I'm probably going to have more losers. So it just doesn't feel worth it. I don't see anything right now that looks like it has the potential to predictably squeeze up 20, 30, 40, 50 cents or more. What I am seeing are a lot of light volume stocks with big spreads that carry a lot of risk. ATGL, this one hit the scans as it came up to 8, actually broke over 8 by 6 cents. But look at the spreads in the volume. It's not liquid. You can't trade it. There's nothing there, right? You get in on the ask, you get out on the bid, you're immediately in the red. SIFY, this one hitting the scans. We're just seeing a ton of stocks like this. And they just don't feel safe. They don't feel tradable. QSG, this one hit the scans a couple times. It is moving higher, but this one, it just, I don't know. Just looking at the level 2 on it. So 598 is the halt level. It's extended. You've got topping tails. Back here, it hit a high of 69, and the next candle dropped to 515. Right there, another topping tail up to a high of 85, back to 60 something on the bid. So it's like, I don't know. I don't think there's enough momentum in the market today. And I suppose there's nothing really triggering that excitement and FOMO because none of these have done anything really exceptional. None of these seem to have fantastic news. So, we're kind of in a little bit of a lull. All right. So if I accept being red 2,500 and just say, that's it, I'm walking away, I'm done, this is a manageable loss. This is a loss that I can recover in 1 good trade, 2 good trades tomorrow. Not that I should go into the day tomorrow trying to recover, all of it in 1 trade, but I just know realistically this is a small loss for me. But if I keep going, I do a 6,000 share trade or, I shouldn't, a 5,000 share trade, let's just say on QSG, and then that drops 20 cents on me. I lose another $1,000 there. And then next thing you know, I'm down 3,500. I do 1 more trade, then I'm down 4,500. Now I'm at $5,000 max loss. And I don't think it's worth taking an extra $2,500 of risk today to try to make back the 2,500 because I think if I was really honest, my likelihood is that I have a much higher percentage probability of doubling my loss right now than I do of getting back to flat. And that's just getting back to flat, not even getting to green, right? Or getting to the daily goal, which is really not going to happen. There's no way I would hit my daily goal today unless we had a stock that came out of nowhere and took off, which, is not very likely because there's not strong sentiment today in the market. So I think this is one of those days where, as difficult as it is, the right thing to do is just to shut it down and walk away. And perhaps I should have done that at 9 a.m. Because when we came into 9 a.m., right at the top of the hour at 9 a.m., I was up like $38 on the day. I had the $17 winner and then the $21 winner on LASE. And if that's where I'm at 9 a.m., the writing is on the wall. I then took a $700 loss on YY, and so I was down, $750 on the day or whatever, which is not a big deal. But then at the open, took the loss on LASE of $1,500. So then I'm down $2,300. And then I took my final trade on PEV for a $163 loss. At that point, I was like, all right, you know what? 3 losses in a row. I just lost $2,500 pretty quickly and fairly unnecessary if you think about it. I probably should have had the discipline to not have even taken those 3 trades. All right. So I've already pushed my luck today and paid the price for it. I'm not going to push it anymore. So the right thing for me to do here is to shut it down. So what I have to do on a day like today is I have to close everything down. I have to close my charts. I have to get out of everything, because if I keep seeing stocks moving, what's going to happen is as I see them moving, I'm going to start to get, if I see something start to pull away, I'm going to get FOMO. I'm going to get the fear of missing out. I'm going to feel like, oh man, I should jump in that, or I should have jumped in that. And that's kind of been the case today where PEV, it starts to move, I'm getting in, and then it stalls out. LASE, it starts to move, I get in, and then it stalls out. So it's like we've had these half starts, and I'm getting in kind of at the top of these moves, and then they're not continuing higher. So if I kept trading today, most likely I would keep doing that. I would keep just I'm not going to get into something that's not moving. So I'm going to wait for something to start to move, but it's not going to have the inherent strength to give us that second leg higher. So I'll buy that first pullback and then get stopped out. Buy the first pullback and get stopped out. So that first pullback pattern works really well, but naturally it works better when there's strong buying sentiment in the market, when there's momentum in the market. And that momentum comes either from that individual stock having a clear catalyst, a news headline, which we don't have today on anything that's really meaningful, or it comes from other stocks that have been super strong, and that momentum is kind of creating just general sympathy momentum. And we're not seeing that either because it's Monday and there's nothing yet this week that has been super strong. So all of that leads me to feel that the right move is to shut down, walk away, and not look at charts for the rest of the day. Because what I don't want to have happen is that I come back at 3 o'clock and I see a stock squeezing into power hour, and then I lose $5,000 on it. And I go from being down 2,500, which is a perfectly manageable, reasonable, and arguably successful red day, to going down 7,500 and then, or 10,000. And then all of a sudden, now I've really dug my hole on Monday morning at the beginning of the week. Have I dug a hole a little bit? Yeah, 2,500. Is it manageable? Easily. I've been averaging 15,000 a week. So I know even in spite of today, I can still have a really good week. It can still be a solid green week. But if I let today get too big, it's going to screw up the whole rest of the week, right? And then it gets me off to a bad start. And it's just, so I really, really have to be disciplined here about walking away. And I just know myself that if I keep watching, I'm just so apt to say, oh, that does look good. And then next thing you know, I'm trading at 2 in the afternoon or 3 in the afternoon. So the discipline for me, I wish I had the discipline to be able to watch the market without trading it. But since I'm not there right now, certainly on a day like today, the next best thing I can do is discipline myself by walking away so I don't see anything, and not allowing myself to check charts on my phone or anything like that, just not looking at the market at all until tomorrow. And then I'll sit down tomorrow fresh and hope tomorrow that we have a nice looking gap scan and there'll be some stocks that I can trade that look good. And if there are, then tomorrow has the potential to be just a great regular day, right? No big deal. And if it's another slow day, then tomorrow I have to continue to exercise that discipline, which today, as of right now, I've exercised medium well. I am walking away before the red day gets bigger, but I could have been more disciplined about quality of setup, which is so important. You focus on high quality setups, you're going to have better success. So yeah, as we sit here for the month of Mondays have been tough for the last 30 days. So I'm actually net negative on Mondays when you actually factor in today's loss for the last 30 days. But in any case, looking at the calendar here, I have had nice green days. So really, I'm only giving back half of Friday's gains. That's not a big deal. I'm totally okay with that. And, taking a red day here at the beginning of October just kind of, puts a small red day there. Boom, that's it. And, in a way, a victory here, and this again requires me to stay disciplined about not coming back, is that this would be the smallest red day I've had in quite a while. See, look at these red days. That's a $10,000 day. That's a $10,000 day. That's a $7,500 day. Back here, I had like a $200 red day. And back here, I had a $1,400 red day. And those red days, do I remember what I traded on that day? No. Do I remember what I traded on this day? No. This day? Not off the top of my head. And I don't really remember this day either. That's how fast it's water under the bridge. But in the moment, it felt very intense. And I was spiraling and I was frustrated and I refused to, give up. So it's really good just to be able to take those small red days, lock it up, and live to trade another day. So that's it for me. I'll be back at it first thing tomorrow morning, bright and early. I'll be streaming right around 7 a.m. And I'm hoping that tomorrow we have a better looking gap scanner because I can really, there's only so much I can do when we don't have anything on the scan. So hopefully tomorrow we've got a better scan. All right. So I'll remind you as always, trading is risky. My results aren't typical. So manage your risk, take it slow. And I'll see you guys back here. I'll be live streaming tomorrow morning for members at Warrior Trading.